Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about some new casting news for The Walking Dead Season 9. It appears Lydia, I hope this is right information, but it appears that Lydia has been cast, and the young lady's name is, as soon as I get this screen out of here, Cassidy McClincy. Now, I don't recognize her from anything. I haven't seen Castle Rock. I have seen Ozark, but I don't really remember her in Ozark. But instantly, I did a age check to see what age she was, and it says she's around 17. And then I did a quick age check on Enid from The Walking Dead, and it says she's around 19. So then I got excited thinking, okay, they're close in age. They could actually remix, because keep in mind, for TV-only fans, Lydia is a big part of the story along with, as far as what's coming up, along with Carl, because that really progresses the story forward in, actions they take. And they build a relationship, and that's what really kind of blends the two stories together as far as the good guys we know and the bad guys coming up named the Whisperers, which Lydia is a part of that group. So I thought it would be an interesting and a better idea, in my opinion, instead of just grabbing some new character from one of the communities that we, like a young guy from Hilltop or Alexandria, that we don't know him, we don't care about him. With Carl, we had that connection, so we cared about his journey. If you bring a new character and remix him in that love story with this new character, Lydia, I feel like you're just going to need a lot more time for us to develop that. We've already started getting a connection with Enid. She's already in the story, so why not use her? Use her to build this friendship with somebody who's actually close in age, and this would connect drastically to Enid's story. She got to the community. She was at a state where she didn't really connect with the kids, and then where Carl got there, he was a bit of an outsider, and yada, 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 and they had that connection, and ever since then, we don't see her with other kids. We don't see her making these connections. We see her making like a sisterly, like an older sister bond with Maggie and stuff like that, but I think it's just more fitting, and it makes more sense for Lydia to show up. Enid did, something wrong, just like Carl in the comic, and Maggie's trying to make sense of it within the community because she just punished Gregory, so she needs to stay on the up and up. And then she's like, okay, Enid, yada, yada. Well, then again, Maggie might not still be in the story at this time. But anyway, then Enid does something wrong, and she has to sit in a little jail cell. And sure enough, they bring in Lydia, and they get to talking, and they build this friendship and bond. You guys let me know if you like that direction. I love that. I absolutely love that. And again, if the actress playing Enid is really working on her craft and her range as an actor, then this will definitely show and prove that to any of the naysayers, any Enid haters, Every actor has haters, every character has people that love and hate them, and some people have fans that love to hate them. But anyhow, this isn't the look of Lydia I was picturing before they announced the casting, but that's not saying anything good or bad about the actress. I think it all depends on her range. And I'm not familiar with her, so I really don't know her range as an actor. So knowing that it is someone with a face we don't recognize, I think some shows and movies, depending on the character needed, I think they work better sometimes with characters that are up-and-coming actors that aren't household names. With The Walking Dead with Andrew Lincoln, I think for me personally, it worked a lot better. I had no idea who that actor was at that time. Had it be an actor I knew, like Thomas Jane, for example, Frank Darabont really, I believe Frank Darabont really wanted him, or that was like one of his first picks, but I don't know. I wasn't really sold on that, and I think I would have a different viewpoint, different look, and a different connection with the actor had I known him from something else. Now, as far as the casting, if this is legit, as far as additional information with the timeline, I think we have to look at when this casting news is coming out. A lot of times the casting and when the actor starts working is sometimes just weeks apart. I know with some interviews they knew a little bit ahead of time. I know some interviews the actor got the role and they flew down to Georgia to start filming in a week or 2 weeks or something like that. If this is the case, then they could be, I would imagine, they would be around episode 7, 8-ish. You guys let me know If those who pay attention to the filming, we don't need any other details, but what episode are they around? I believe it is somewhere around there, and if that's the case, then we will likely see the first half deal with the communities coming together for a couple episodes. We obviously have the death of Rick. We have a second time jump mixed in there somewhere, most likely after the death of Rick, unless they do something weird. Maggie goes missing or disappears. Her story is left open-ended. And then when we return, we see our group after, I guess, another time skip and how they're dealing with the communities after that point in time, whether they got patrol roads set up, they got trading set up, the communities are running pretty good. Certain communities are doing better in different areas than others. It was said in an interview that Hilltop is going to be the main provider of food with their crops and everything like that. Another place could be the main provider of lumber and yada, 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 similar to the comic book. And then they bring in these new characters like Magna. We start expanding the world, and they run into the Whisperers. Now, that storyline, if they do run into the Whisperers and we get their introduction, either the mid-season finale-ish area would be the reveal of what type of people these are, or we're going to get the border, which I'm not going to spoil that here, but comic book fans know what that is. If we do get the border in the mid-season finale, then it kind of feels like some things were a little bit rushed there. Like we go right from the reveal in one episode, and then an episode or two later, we're getting the border already. I'm not really sure how they're going to go about mixing that, but the big thing is there's a huge altercation that is titled a war in the comic. It's called the Whisperer War. Now, in the comic, when you look at the storyline, it is definitely shorter than All Out War. So a lot of fans are thinking that maybe they will squeeze it in this whole season. But now that we know we're losing Rick and then Maggie and then you got these characters coming along, does it really make sense to have that jammed into just this one season? I could kind of see them having the Whisperer storyline spill into season 10. And maybe half of season 10 would be the conclusion. That would be the Whisperer War. I really don't think they're going to promote it as that, because just having All Out War, the build up to it, oh, we're going to war, and then actually doing a whole season of war, I kind of feel like they're going to stay away from the war title, but just have that conflict conclude in season 10 somehow. Who knows? They might have it run all throughout season 10, so that way they can blend in the other additional storyline. I hope they do change it from the comic, because the comic, it did kind of feel like we had one big moment, and then the enemies were just kind of picked off one at a time. It kind of just whimpered out. It really did. So I hope they do wrap that up, and maybe they wrap it up differently than being a nice even cut. Like, here's the bad guy. He attacks the prison. He's dead and killed, and boom, we move on. Here's Negan. He gets the upper hand. We get the upper hand. We go to war. He's dead and done in jail. You know what I mean? Instead of being, it's with Terminus, you have they get a little bit ahead, and then the good guys get a little bit ahead. But once the good guys win, they win, and that's it. Like with the Wolves, attack here, attack there. Okay, the Wolves are dead and done. With the Whisperers, it would be nice to kind of see them similar to the comic book. Have the main confrontation, take a real hard hit, but still have a couple lingering, still posing a threat, but then be dispatched along as the story progresses into the new storyline, which would be the Commonwealth, the big setup for a huge community, which is something I do not think we're going to see in season 9. I thought it was something we might see. We still could see the seeds planted, but I don't think we're going to see that simply because of one thing: the budget. It would be huge budget-wise to move the story along to where we get to see the biggest community ever in the world of The Walking Dead if we rushed it with season 9 with everything else they're doing. I just don't think it makes sense. And that's why I think the Commonwealth needs to wait until season 10. Likely, or maybe we won't even see it until season 11. Because again, we got to keep budget in consideration when we think about these things. The reveal of the Commonwealth, a few episodes taking place at the Commonwealth, we're going to need some time for all that, you know what I mean? And time is budget. By time, I mean episodes, and then that does eat away at the budget, and something that large is definitely going to be something that's going to cost a decent amount of money to film. So anyway, you guys give me your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about this casting, if you know of this young actor? Give me your thoughts and opinions on her range and her abilities and charisma and things like that. And how do you feel about the timeline? And again, no spoilers. We're good on that. Just based off of the trailer and what other casting information and around the time they're filming. What kind of ideas are you thinking? We don't really need to solve everything. That's why I said we don't need the spoilers, but just thoughts and opinions and predictions. Put them down in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.